What's up? It's Matt. Another episode of MPTV. This time we're out west in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're here at Slater's 50/50 with the owner, Andy. What's going on?
Hi. Well, it's cold. It's Vegas right now. This is as cold as we get, and we freak out. And then more fun times are ahead for us.
Yeah, I know. It's always coming out here with the business. It's like, okay, I'm getting away from the Kentucky weather in January. I come out here and it's as cold.
Yes.
So tell us about yourself, your history in the restaurant business, as well as what you're doing here at Slater's.
Yeah. So Slater's opened in 2018 in July. So we are about 3.5 years in right now. Before that, I was far away from F&B. I went to hotel school,
okay.
And in hotel school, they tell you stay away from restaurants, they lose money, and look, here we are.
So you didn't listen in school?
No, I was not very good at it.
What got you to go against that? What made you say, I'm going to get in the restaurant space and I'm going to do this, especially in Vegas, a place that's got a lot of restaurants?
So for a long time, I worked for the casinos. I built restaurants for them.
Okay.
And built casinos, and part of that was me always wondering, I could do this for other people on other people's time, and am I actually any good at this? And there's one way to find out, right? And it's to do it yourself.
So that's interesting, because I'm guessing budget's not a big deal at those restaurants.
It is a deal, but it's a much bigger budget.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people, and a little bit less accountability, but we're all gonna get it open. And somehow, some way, somebody will get it open.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're on your own, it's a little bit different, where I have a finite bucket of money.
Yep.
And when it's out, it's out.
Oh yeah. So what's interesting and curious to me about that also is the fact I've been coming to Vegas since I'm 45, since I was probably 13, because we've been out here when I was a kid, and I've seen the many iterations of Vegas. And back in the day, Vegas wasn't known for the amazing food. It was the cheap food. It was a $1.99 buffet and gamble. And now Vegas has become a foodie place. So you've gotten to see, like, your part in the restaurant business was probably during all that.
Yes, it's part of the entertainment package, right? It is for people to come here and have fun. And part of that is gaming, part of that is shows. And food is just as much of a destination. On the strip, non-gaming makes up more revenue today than the gaming itself. And so
it is.
No, it's real.
Wow.
So it is very much part of the whole Vegas experience, all in together. And that's what makes Vegas special.
Now your blocks, probably 10, 15 blocks from the strip, I would imagine, you're in a unique position because you could probably market to tourists. You can market towards locals. The tourists, I'm guessing, would be a short-term win, but these locals are what support you, right?
Yes, so we're in an interesting spot where we're about 5 minutes from the airport.
Okay.
So we get a lot of folks that fly off, hop on Yelp, look for a place, and we're 5 minutes away, and they drive right down here for us. There's a car rental agency, the big one right down here. Tourists are kind of hard to market to, right?
Yeah.
There's really not much that we can ever do to compete with the budgets that the strip has, right? So when you fly in, you see all the big billboards, and those cost our entire marketing budget for a year.
Yep.
But the tourist market is really through Yelp and Google, and really making sure we show up on there when they sit down and fly in. And organically, we don't pay for any of those ads, but organically they will find us on there.
So it's kind of like the gravy. It's like, hey, that's the gravy. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. We'll make sure we look great on those platforms, but we're not going to actively go try and spend money to get it.
We would never compete. We would never make it if we try to compete for that, for a restaurant our scale. And then, yes, about locals. Locals is a very consistent market for us. We are in a very residential spot, away from the major streets, actually. And so one of our bets was that there's nothing else here. And so it could be a great move and be the only one here, or it could turn out that nobody's here for a good reason.
Yeah.
And we found out that this area needed a good restaurant.
So with regards to that, what made you go the route of Slater's? Because Slater's is a franchise, a smaller one, correct?
Yes.
What made you take that route versus creating Andy's Castle?
So we went as customers way back in 2014, and it was a very interesting experience with beer, the sports, over the top burgers, and a very family welcoming environment.
Okay.
And when we moved back here to Vegas, that was one of our challenges of finding a place for our kids to go. It's where do you go in this town that's non-smoking?
No gambling.
Not gambling, right? that still has some decent food and beer. We have 50 beers on draft. Winner of the best beer list here in town. A lot of fun burgers. Our food is very shareable, and so that's what we needed for our own family. And so we thought, let's give them a call and see if we can build one.
Yeah, that's unique because I did a podcast with a gentleman who's got a restaurant called Time Out on North Carolina Chapel Hills campus. And when he got out of college 45 years ago, he saw a need for a restaurant. He said, I saw a need for one open overnight because all the college kids at 2 a.m. are high and drunk, looking for somewhere to eat. He's like, the only reason nobody had done it was that all these restaurateurs weren't former college students like me right then and there. So he opened it. Here he is 45 years later. You, as a family man, I mean, there's a lot of people here in Vegas that, I mean, it's not just a bunch of single people. There's a lot of 30 to 45-year-olds with 2, 3, 4 kids. And like you said, there's not a great selection of family-friendly entertainment, I would imagine.
Yes, and we're kind of in that middle price range, right? We're not the cheapest food out there, but it is a sit-down experience. So you do get a server, and it is right in the area where folks who make decent blue-collar wages can come out here for a full-service meal and not break the bank. But something still a little more classy, and that's exactly what we target.
Okay, break time. Restaurant owners, you're watching MPTV, so you're obviously interested in increasing your sales and profits. But what if I told you you could eliminate the hope and pray out of your marketing? You could spend money and actually see results. You know, most marketing starts with attention, like a billboard. The problem is that attention leads nowhere. That's why we created the ROI Engine Restaurant Program. We take attention and gain huge engagement, whether it's in-store or online. We help you build a database with deep customer information that's comprised of email, cell phone, and birthday. And then we drive them into the restaurant with trackable results. Yes, results you can actually see. If you're interested and want to have a conversation, check out restaurantmarketingthatworks.com. Worst case scenario, you get a lot of great ideas. Now back to the show. What's been your biggest learning curve since coming on your own from being in the casino world and having their wallets?
COVID certainly made things a lot of fun. But you know, the perks are we can pivot a lot faster when we're on our own versus the casino world. Learning curve is probably people. We have grown very fast every year. We doubled volumes last year from 2020. And 2020 we actually grew from 2019 too, by double digits.
Nice.
And so it is keeping up with hiring. And in this town, competing against the Strip in wages, the Strip pays some amazing wages that we can never keep up with. And they also charge for that. And that's not what we are, right? We're a local spot with prices much lower. And so we have to find other fun ways to keep our staff engaged.
What are those?
So we do quarterly team events. So we have about 35 to 40 people right now. We'll shut down once a quarter. We'll do bowling nights. We'll book out a whole escape room. We just did our holiday party, bought out a whole restaurant, did bar and food for the staff. A lot of fun team building stuff that keeps them with us. A lot of celebrations, huge birthday celebrations every month with fun cakes. Everyone gets anniversary gifts. This is the 3-year anniversary. Now I was here since opening day, so I get my 3 years, right? But all my 3-year staff gets their jackets. And we are very competitive in benefits. So benefits for all our full-time staff, we pay 75% of it. They get 401k, they get bonuses. A little bit different than other restaurant companies out there.
Yeah, oh, you're right. I've seen some of the wages you can make on the Strip because I've seen the marketing behind it, and you've got to be different. And employees like that atmosphere. Heck, I'm at your restaurant. We've got 16 of us here. I flew out. We've got 1 local and 15 people. We flew out to have a team building exercise for a couple of days, and that's stuff that a lot of companies don't do. And especially the birthday aspect. I mean, how many people have had a birthday at a job? Heck, we acknowledge a little. We need to step it up, but you acknowledge, and it's probably one of the first times that server has ever had an acknowledgement of her birthday at the restaurant.
Probably, yes. For a lot of our staff, our staff are younger, right? A lot of them are out here alone, and we are essentially family to them, and that is the birthday celebration.
Yeah, and it's unique because a lot of restaurants are struggling to find staff, but they're not fighting with what the Strip is from a financial standpoint like you are.
Yes.
Restaurant owners, did you know Matt has free online marketing courses that teach you how to successfully market your restaurant? Email support@mattplapp.com to get access to the courses and a free social media content calendar.
Yep.
So I always like to ask people at the end of the podcast, airplane mode. You got your phone, you put it on airplane mode, it doesn't bug you. What does Andy do? You've got a family, you've got the restaurant, you're obviously an entrepreneur that's driven by succeeding, but what do you do to turn it off and forget about this and get your mind right?
I don't think I've done airplane mode in a long time. I think I diligently try to spend as much time with the kids as I can because I practically live at the restaurant, right? And any moment I can to spend with them, I will do that.
Well, cool. Can't beat that. I know what that's all about. Well, I appreciate your time today.
Absolutely.
And if you're learning on this episode of MPTV, you've got employment problems. He's got it double. He's competing against getting employees, but also getting employees who have opportunity to make higher wages a couple blocks away. So what are you doing to keep your employees engaged at a different level that nobody else is? That's all we got this episode of MPTV. We'll see you next episode.